Hi, y'all. How's everybody doing? I hope it's a good week for you guys. I am back from Bartlett where we were filming for Art Spirit, so thankfully all went well there. Um, Today, I am going to let you ask questions, but I do have something I thought it's that time of year again, right? Time to put names on stockings. So, a nap control is one of those topics that we talk about a lot, and it knockdown stitch, nap control, all of those kinds of things. Well, it occurred to me we don't really have a true knockdown or nap control on our luminaires with custom decorative fills or the Avenires. So I figured we could I could teach you how to make one that you can use in your custom section in PE Design 11 to start with, and then we'll go from there. So I've got it up on my screen here to show you, and I want you all to determine, to look at it and see which one you think was done. I'm going to hide one out of here. Let me hide one guy. And which one you think was made in PE Design with a regular one of the net fill, and which one is the decorative fill that I created for you to be able to use. So let me share my screen and you guys can take a vote. So here are the two different fills. One of them is a decorative fill and one of them is a net fill. Can you guess which is which? So not really, right? So that tells me I've done something right. Everything's running. Both of them, if we watch them run, they're going to run in one continuous section. They're not going to have jump stitches. So both of them work very well. You just get to determine which one's which. Any guesses? They look very similar. No, Joyce, the top one is not the net fill. The bottom one is the net fill. If I select it, you can see I've selected this net fill and I've turned it 45 degrees. Now, you could pick this one as well and grab a whole lot more area. But when I compared it to my BES software, this is what the BES software does. So that's probably the density that we need to be at. And that's what I ended up doing with this one. Now, the difference is in P Design, you do get to make them to where they are different dimensions on the height and the width. You cannot do that on your machine. So if I hit maintain aspect ratio, this is what yours is going to look like. No big deal. Same concept. It's a good size and it would work very well. Okay. So how do we do it? This one's super simple, guys, and you guys can have fun playing. We're going to go up to the option pull down menu. We're going to choose programmable stitch creator. And it's going to pop up here. And I'm going to put us a preview window up. So I had gone to my view tab and turned on the preview window, but it went to my other screen. And that wouldn't not necessarily work for you. You can't see the preview. And man, my printer is about to drive me batty. It wants me to update and it keeps popping up on me. I don't want to update it right now. I told it to stop asking. All right, so we are going to start in a corner. And well, let me look here first. Let's go to the view. We have our grid on with axis, and I have it 3/4 of the way up. Okay. Now you could go halfway if you want, but it truly doesn't matter. I think 3/4 of the way up is plenty. Hold on just a second. And let me see if I can stop this from messing with me. Notifications. Stop telling me notifications. Settings. Nope, not going to let me do that. If this does not stop popping up, I'm going to scream. All right, we're going to click in the bottom left-hand corner. You can pick in whichever corner you want, but I went with bottom left. And you're going to go to the opposite side and double click. So you have one straight line going across. Then I went up halfway and I went over halfway, double clicked. Continue on the line. So if you go to blue line to blue line and then halfway up to halfway up, you will get this done pretty quickly. And I mean, all I'm doing is left clicking to start, double clicking to end. And you can see it's touching. So we're going to touch on all sides. You can tell that I have a straight line going across, so that's perfect. If I had something like this, you would know you had made a mistake. So in that case, I would go to my select point tool, grab this guy and move it up. But you can see exactly what's happening on your screen. That preview window is very important for you to be able to know that you have things connected. Okay. So now we've got that one direction. Now let's take it and go the opposite way. We're going to go diagonal the opposite direction. Same thing. And this time you have a real easy match because you're going to go point to point. And it's snapping to grid because we have a grid on. Whenever you have a grid turned on, it is automatically going to snap to the grid. Which, like I said, that makes this super simple. And I'm just going to keep going here. And I've got my last one right here. So now I'm all filled in, everything's ready, and we're going to save this as nap control. So we're going to go up and do File Save As, and I will choose nap control 2. And we're going to save the default size and make it 15 millimeters and hit save. Okay, or 17, somewhere between 15 and 20, whatever your preference is. This is one that you can adjust after you're done. Now, I could try doing this and smushing it to see, but you notice that. So if I did this, and then we took this and we copied it, well, let's just duplicate it. And then let's take it and shift it over. So now if you wanted that more angular option, we just got it by smushing the one side in, and we're going to call this one nap control 3. And once again, I'm going to leave it at 15 millimeters, although I may not need it that small with having done 2 sides like that. So let's go see what they look like. I'm going to select, first of all, let's put some text in here. We'll just do new page, and we won't save anything. And I will go to my text tool, and I'm going to type in my name and press enter and make it whatever size you want it to be. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so you guys can see. Let's make sure we're on a default hoop size, so we're not huge there. Okay, so now I'm going to hit the embroidered patch wizard, and I'm going to have it go about 1.5 away. And we'll see, okay, that is your personal preference. How far away do you want it from the original design? And that gives me that little outline there, okay? Now, we're going to ungroup this, and I'm going to select my outline and hit the Select Patterns icon, or I could have double-clicked. And then we're going to come down here, and we're going to choose Decorative Fill. It's going to default to something else because it doesn't know what we're looking at. So basically, it's defaulting to a blank. If you were just opening it, it would be the leaves that are going up. But since we're not just opening it, it's going to be something different. So here's our nap control 2, which is the same as my nap control 1. All right. You would then take this and move it to the top, to the front. Now, I ungrouped it, right? So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to paste it. And then I'm going to move it down. And let's go and see what nap control 3 looks like. It should be tighter, and it is. And let's see how it stitches. Once again, there are no jump stitches there. It's doing its thing. It's perfectly good. I could live with that. That one's tighter, so I don't think we need our default to be 15. We can probably go to 25. And let's see if it did anything weird here. The only thing it has is an extra stitch right there, which is no big deal. I could live with that. I actually like number 2 better than number 1. But you can do, I mean, number 3 better than number 1 or 2. But you can go either way. It just occurred to me how to make that one to be more up and down, so more vertical space than horizontal space. I had tried to do it by clicking it, and that was not working as well for me. So by basically making the shape that I did, let's go back and do that. We'll delete this one, and I got to delete that and delete that, right? So now we'll grab this whole thing again. This is what it looked like before, right? I smushed it in, and then you can either duplicate or you can copy and paste. I duplicated, and then I just moved it over with my arrow keys on my keyboard. That way I know it's going to be right in its space, and I won't lose anything. If I click on it and move it with my cursor, I might accidentally deselect something. So just use your arrow keys on your keyboard. Let's see if we save this as a default of 25, if it looks better. We're going to do nap control. We'll do nap 4. And we'll make it 25. Now let's see. I'm going to take this one and move it up. And we'll make it nap. It was nap 4, right? So yeah, that's a good dimension for it. 25 millimeters. Yeah. And if I bring in my other file, now I'm showing y'all a little shortcut here. If you've got a file on your computer, let me bring this over here. So I have a file on my computer. I'm going to shrink this down a little bit. And I don't want to go to the import window. I'm being lazy right now. So here's the file that I want. If I click on it, hold my control key down, I can drag it into my window, and it pops it in there as an import, not an open. So if I double clicked on it, it would open. But just by clicking and dragging, it that basically imports it. So if we look, those are 2 very similar items. BES is going to stitch differently, but neither one is going to be bad. They're both going to be, it's basically about the same thing. Okay. Now, on your machines, you will go to your fills, and you will choose custom, and you'll have to put this on a USB. I got to find my mouse here. You have to save it to a USB in order to use it on your machine, okay? And then when you go into your decorative fills, there is a custom tab. When you touch custom, and there's a video on how to use them on my website. Actually, if you bought any of my decorative fills, there's a video for how to use them. I know that we did a video at some point on how to use them here, but it is super simple. My machine's not turned on. I don't have a camera ready. So this one just popped in my head today, and I thought, well, we'll go with this one today. So you're just going to touch custom. You're going to touch the USB stick, and it will be there. Pop it in, and you can use it. And, you get to choose which ones you delete off your machine. I believe you get to hold up to 12 of the customs on your machine at one time. So if that's one that you always like, just don't ever delete it off your machine. Okay. Any other questions? Any questions on that? Are we good? So if you were doing BES silver or BES version BES4 with a power pack, you have, I believe it's Power Pack 1. BES Silver has it built in. When you come in and you type in your name, oops, got to remember which program I'm working with. There's my name, okay? Whoever's name it's going to be, you go to your Tools tab, and then you tap Nap Control. I usually go from the stitches. You can play with that and see if you like it differently the other way. You choose how far you want it offset. Usually the default's pretty good. I always add a finishing run because I like the way that looks, and say, okay. And that's as simple as that is. I mean, it does not, you only have one pattern. So it's very simple, very easy to use. Okay. And that is your in BES blue, excuse me, not BES blue, BES4 and BES silver. But BES4 does have to have Power Pack 1. Okay, guys. Now it's open for questions. If y'all don't have any questions, we'll see what else I can get into. I'm hoping somebody has a question. So if I came in and did text, I have no idea what font is selected here. All right, on your Tools tab, once again, Nap Control's right there. But it's only there if you have Power Pack 1. I can say that, can't say that too many times for you. Power Pack 1, you must have. Oh, I forgot to add a finishing run, so let me undo. Oops, undo. There you go. That's what it looks like. Okay. But it is that time of year for Nap Control to come into play. Y'all are very quiet today. Oh, man. Hi, Sandra. How are you doing today? Okay. DJ sent me something to share with you all, and I forgot to share it the last week. I was on the road when he sent it, and then I was getting ready to go off the road after that. So I totally forgot it. So hold on just a second, and let me see if I can find it. He sent it before Thanksgiving. So he made, I'm going to open this up so y'all can see it. He made a file for zippers for zipper insertion. And I will put these in the Education Connection group files so you guys can download them if you want to. He's graciously shared them for us. So this is what it looks like. So he's made it for zipper insertion, and he's got files, one that's 9.6 inches long, one that's 4 inches long, and one that's 6.5 inches long. Now, if you want to see what the file looks like, it's not a complicated file, but I do appreciate him sharing it with us so we all understand it. Let me open it here. Always. It's popping up. This is the 6.5 one. I'm not sure why we have, oh, wait a minute. Are we correct? Oh, isn't that funny? It's not a zipper insertion. He's made a zipper file, so it's a faux zipper. That's hysterical. I didn't catch what it was, but that is a faux zipper. So it looks like you have a zipper inserted, but there's really nothing there. It's just a decorative element. That's kind of fun. I didn't catch that the first time around, but that's what it is. It's just a faux zipper, and he's given it to us in 3 different sizes, which is kind of fun. I thought he was telling me it was a zipper insertion, but no, that you can see he's digitized the zipper itself. And this is what it looks like here. I'll Quite fun. Good job, DJ. I like that. So yeah, it's just a faux zipper. So if you want to add a faux zipper, I will put these up in the education connection for you guys to look at. So there's, like I said, there's 3 different sizes he shared with us. And if anybody's interested, you can have at it and have fun. All right, I'm popping back over here. You all are awfully quiet today. Awfully quiet today. What's up with that? Okay, well, let's see. Do I want to dive into this or not? It's a lot, but we'll see. So y'all know that the whole caboodle is one of my favorite places to work with appliques because she does a very good job. And how many times have I done this project? She does a very good job of separating her pieces for us and then telling us how to put it back together. Okay. Now, Noggin Head here did this a little incorrectly when she scanned it in. So the first time I scanned it in as an image, so I scanned it to transfer to Canvas Workspace. All right. The second time I scanned it in as an FCM and saved it to Canvas Workspace. But there were little gritty lines on it, so I increased the size of elements to say ignore objects under this basic amount. And I got rid of all of my dots. So I have everything there except for the dots and a couple of the feet. All right. So we will play with that. And then you guys can work with that in your P design, in your BES. It depends on you. But this file is from the Whole Country Caboodle. And that little message is about to drive me batty. I guess I'm going to have to update my SP1 because it's driving me nuts. Okay, so we're going to go into Canvas Workspace and I'm going to bring in the cut file first. So I'm going to go to File, Import from my cutting machine, FCM. So you'll notice that I lost a few items here, right? I lost a couple of feet, and I lost the nose, and I lost the eyes. I lost a lot. So that's okay. We can actually work with that. So we're going to go up here again, and we're going to go File, and we're going to import the scanned image. So this is the image that scanned. It didn't trace anything. I could automatically trace it. So if I did that, I think actually, let's do this. Let's hide all of the, actually, let's get rid of these 2 pieces first because those are 2 things we don't need. All right. That's just the edge of the paper that it's on. Now I'm going to hide all these guys. It's not letting me do them all at one time. So we're just going to click them and hide them down through here. All right. So now all I have is my piece of paper on here. Let me double tap to get it back in the middle. Now we are going to we're going to delete this and we're going to go to Image Trace. I swear to the good Lord, this is trying to drive me batty. We're going to Image Trace and we're going to say an image from my machine. And hold on, it's going to take it a minute. See if I can hide this thing so it stops driving me nuts. All right, we don't want to trace outer edge only. We want to trace areas by color. And I'm going to change the number of colors down to 2 and see what I get. That's more along the lines of what I want. So really, I'm looking for the pieces that I missed from the other because I do think the Scan and Cut itself did a better job with the lines here. So we're just going to say, okay. And I'm going to get rid of the big body. We're going to hide the image first. And I'm going to get rid of the big bot. Yeah, come on. going to get rid of the big body. We're going to get rid of the ear because I know we have the ear. Let me ungroup everything. We don't need the face because we got it. We do need these dots, these pieces right here. I do not need the ear. I'm not sure what that is, so we'll leave it over here in case we need it. I know I don't need the legs. I know I don't need this. No, I don't need that. And I'm pretty sure I don't need that. I know I need 2 of these feet. I'm just not sure which 2. So we'll go down here and turn this one on and see which one is. That's that one. So actually, why don't we just use those feet? So now I should be able to turn everything else back on and it should bring back what we need. Oh, I deleted a tail. Oops. We're going to make our tail. We're going to work with this and make it part of our tail. We're not going to worry about it. I take that back. I can't do it. Y'all know me. I just can't do it. So let's undo till I get back to my tail being on there. Oh. Can't go back far enough. Darn it. All right. So let's try this again. It was easy enough to recreate. If it's going to play nice in the sandbox, we're going to go back to trace areas by color. We're going to go down to 2 and preview and say, okay. Now I need to keep the tail this time. Don't let me get rid of it. We're going to ungroup. And I'm going to hide the image so it's not in my way. I'm not sure what that is, so let's turn the image back on. That is nothing. Let's see what that's nothing. Don't need the face. We do need the dots. We do not need that, and we do not need an ear, and we do not need this. And I don't think we need the ear, but we'll check. That gets me the spots that I need. Okay. Now let's go down here and get rid of these 2 hooves. And then we can turn on everything else. That should give me all my parts. If I hide everything, oops, I got 2 tails this time. How did I must have just deleted one by accident. Okay. I'm good with that. Now, what else do we need to do? Well, in order for it to look like the real thing, unless I were cutting this out of heat transfer vinyl, I need to mirror the whole kit and caboodle. Okay. So I flipped it. Now let's go flip the image as well. Since I have it hidden, it didn't flip. So let's come back and grab it and go up to edit, flip. Oh, you do have to select it. Now I can flip it. There we go. Now let's line it up with our pieces. So we see if we have everything good. Yep, that's pretty good. The tail's in a different spot, but we don't really care because this is not how we're lining it up. All right. So I am going to go back in. I think our trace is good. Let's zoom in and make sure we're pretty good on all of our pieces. It looks like it traced everything pretty good. Well enough for government work today. So the only thing I might do is make these a little bit bigger because it looks like it traced the inside instead of the outside. Not a big deal. And that so it traced the insides of these. So all I'm doing is making them just slightly bigger, and then they look right. Let's put this tail on top of here and see what it looks like. Yeah, it needs to be a little bit bigger too. Where did my tuft go? Did I delete that stupid thing? You have to be kidding me. Where's that one? Oh, it's hiding behind the paper. Let's put the paper at the back. There we go. Like, wait a minute, where did that go? I knew I had it. So, all right, these are the outlines of the other pieces that I kept from my original scan on the Scan and Cut itself, and they look in pretty good shape. It actually, I think it did a better job with those than the image trace. But I don't know why I'm sitting here futzing with this so much, because we're gonna ignore what we've got here. We're gonna ignore the whole shape because it does us no good. It's not put together. So now we have to figure out how to put it together. Okay. I want to see if I want something on top. If I cut it and I paste it back in, it will show you where it goes to. It goes to the very top. So if that is my top piece, which if we look at my image, let me show you my image over here. If we look at my image, the body is my top piece. Okay. So that everything else has to layer underneath it. And now that I cut and pasted that, it is the top piece. The other piece that needs to be on top is going to be the tuft. Okay. So we'll take the tuft and we'll cut it and we'll paste it. So I'm going to bring it down here kind of where I want it to go. And I'm going to cut it and I'm going to paste it back down. Now look up here. That's not going to put it in the same place. Lord help us if it could do that. But you'll notice it is the top item. That tells me it's the top layer. Okay. Now we need an ear. This one is going to tuck behind the body. All right. This is the face. It's once again going to tuck behind the body. This is the belly. And it tucks in right there. This is, and if we look, that's why I left this image here. It's telling you what these parts are. So this is my back leg. So I need to tuck it in behind the back leg. Let me hide that so I know. So I would tuck it in about right here. And this is the front leg. And this is part of the tail. Now, got to figure out what that is. That's the mouth, which goes right here. And then we have a nose. Now, granted, we're reading this upside down. This is outer eyes. Okay, wait a minute. We have to flip this. I can't see. So, I'm good, but I'm not that good to figure it out. So outer portion of the eye, middle portion of the eye. What do we got? What up severe spots on back? Where's the nose? Oh, the nose is a button. Okay. So if you don't want your nose to be a button, I'm going to go undo that and get it back into its position, and we'll hide it back again. If you don't want your nose to be a button, you could actually trace it and make it something else. So let me get this where it needs to go. That's about right. All right, so I would probably duplicate this one and put it right there. Depending on what you want to do. That is up to you. Now, this is the outer part of the eye. This is the inner part of the eye. And this is the other inner part. And then there's a little dot in the center, which is a button again. So If we don't want it to be a button and you want to have it fabric or you want to stitch it, we'll deal with that when we get over to P Design. Okay. Now, what else do we have? We have spots that go on the back. You pick where you want your spots to go. There is no special way. Oop, undo. I just want my spot. Where is it? And actually, I think I'm going to take these spots and move them out because I want to remove all of my overlaps first. Undo. Let's grab these 3 and pull them up. Now, everything should be layered kind of where we want it to be, except for the feet. And the feet are going to be behind the body once again. So this is the hooves, sorry. For those of you that are technical, that would be a hoof. Hoof. Okay. So this is basically our shape, but we have a lot of overlapping sections. And if you're trying to do embroidery, a lot of overlapping sections are not your friend, right? So let's select them all and see what happens here. We're going to go into we're selecting everything besides our 3 dots. We're going to go into our edit menu and we are going to remove overlaps. Now, this is going to require us to come back and delete some stuff. Actually, didn't that do good? I thought it was going to make me delete stuff, but it took away my paws. So my paws are not in the right spot. Let's take this one and cut it and paste it back and put it back where we want it. Now I'm going to have to move, which other one? This one. Cut it and paste it back. So X and V, cut and paste. Did I lose anything else? I don't think so, but let's go into our layers menu because what has to be on the very top? These 2. All right, so those are in the order. Let's see if we're good now. Let's come in and now let's remove the overlap. Not quite, because I need this to be, all right, so one more. We got to have this under piece, the belly, to be in front of those 2 hooves. So this right here, take it and move it in front of those hooves. Now let's try it. It'll show you what you're doing wrong. If you know what you're trying to achieve, you will see what you've done wrong. Okay. So there we go. Now I've got my shape. Now all I have to do is grab my little dots, my spots, and put them back in. And now let's save this as reindeer. Well, evidently I've hit number lock. Reindeer 1, and we'll save it. Okay. So now let's go into P Design and just file new, and I'm not going to save that. All right. So we are going to go into our scan and cut tab and we are going to choose import. And then we're going to tell it where we want to go, which we are kind of where I want it to be. So let's see if I am in the right pocket or not. Reindeer, RRR. All right, so I'm not. Where did I save it to? Let's go look. File, export, FCM. Oh, well, that's why I didn't save the right thing. Facebook Live Cindy files, reindeer, I saved the Canvas workspace project. And I needed to save the FCM file. So now we're there. And reindeer should pop in my list this time. There it is. We'll import it. Now it's pretty big. We will zoom out a little bit, and I think I'm going to make it a 5 by 7. 130 by 180 is your 5 by 7 hoop. You can change it to inches if you want to. I'm going to scroll up, and I'm going to just hold my shift key down and pull it in. All right, now right mouse click, ungroup. I am going to pull the section so we know what we're looking at. So these 3 dots, we're going to fill them in with a color. We'll make those yellow. I don't care what the outline color is. Actually, we're going to go ahead and make them the same color, just so everything is matching with it. So we'll go to line, and we will say, turn off the applique color, and we'll make it brother embroidery and go with yellow. All right, now let's grab this. This is the face. I'm going to change its color to, let's just come right here. We'll make it kind of a light tan, and we'll turn its fill stitch on, and we'll make it the same light tan. We need to go region, same light tan. All right, now we got eyeballs. This would be a white. So we're going to change that color to white. We're going to turn on the fill. And you don't have to do this, guys. I could sit here and just turn it all into an applique. I'm just making this my life a little easier, so when we're working through this, you guys understand what we're working with. So there's the white of my eye. Let me find the other white of the other part of my eye. That would be that one. I'm not sure what color each is supposed to be. Oh, so they've just made this kind of a tannish color. So let's come in here and change the color first to a, turn it on, and change it, the region, to the same color. I actually don't want it to be that color. I want it to be that color. So let's go back and make the line this color. All right, and then the center of the eye, we are going to make that black. If I can find it. Why do I have 2 of those? Don't need 2. This must be the center of my eye. Somehow I've got 3 of those. Not real sure. It must have, when I removed overlaps, it must have given me extras. Let's grab it, turn its fill stitch on, and now we are black and black, I believe. And then we're going to get rid of these 2 right here because we don't need extras of those. All right. So now we've got our face mostly done. We need the bottom of his face, which is where? What color is that supposed to be? That's going to be a light tan. And the only reason I'm doing this is so that you guys can see what happens when you go into do applique, because we're going to have to change them all again. I just am trying to make my life a little easier. Why did that not grab the whole thing? Oh, guess what? We don't have a closed region because it will not let me fill that in. So somehow that section is not closed. So let's go select point, and let's see what's open here. We were crisscrossed. Looks like I have 2 points. No? Then what is happening? Not that. Not that. Let's undo and undo. Why are you being ornery here? You are selected. You are closed. Huh. Interesting. There's not two of them. Oh, you do have to turn on the region. Duh. Help me. Lord help me. There we go. All right. That is a brain puzzle. You do have to turn on a fill stitch. And then let's grab that one and make it, that region is black. Let's make the line black as well. Okay. We're going to make this a tan. Light brown will work. We are going to turn on its fill stitch and make it the same light brown. And then this is going to be a cream color. Actually, yeah, that's going to be a cream color. Change it to a fill stitch and make it a cream color. We'll make this that same cream color. And then we need the legs. The legs should be the, oops, we still have a part here that needs to be cream. And then our, should only be two legs that are left. We're going to grab those and grab them at the same time. So I hold down my control key and I grabbed them. Let's turn them on and let's change our color. Cream, cream. Oh, wrong one. Dark brown. Region, dark brown. And then we have our hooves and this in the ear. Okay, so let's go in our sewing order window and grab all of our hooves at one time. Where are they? Bing to bing. Select them. And what color do we want our hooves to be? Black, brown, dark, dark, dark brown. Fill stitch. All right, and then we need the tail to be that light, the light color as well. The tail and the ear's going to be pink. So my tail, let's turn on its fill stitch before I make that mistake again. And we will change the line to the tan and the region to the tan. And then our pink. So we are going to go turn on the fill. And we'll change it to pink. And then all we have left is this guy right here. Okay, so if you wanted to embroider this guy, he's ready. Okay, he could be embroidered as a flat embroidery. If you were wanting to convert him into an applique, you can, we should be able to select all, but I think I'm going to leave this stitched and I think I'm going to leave the paws stitched. So, oh, and these are in the wrong order. These would sew last. So I'm going to select those. Oops, I hit the wrong button. Select those and I'm going to go sewing order and I'm going to make them sew last. Okay. Anything I'm planning on embroidering instead of appliquing, I am going to have it sew last right now, just so that we're going to move it to the end so that I can grab them all at one time and not have to deal with it. So I would grab these. Looks like I have an extra dot. I don't need that. So we're going to come and grab this and go send it to the end, sew last. Everything else, I think I'm turning into an applique. And that should be the order that I want them to stitch in. Okay, so let's grab the first piece, go all the way down to here, and select patterns, and then we will hit our applique wizard. I'm going to do a different one than we normally do. We are going to change this to a blanket stitch, which is an E stitch, and we are choosing replace. Your stroke is how far you want the bite to go in. If you go down, in number, you have a shorter stroke. If you go up in number, it's going to bite in deeper. I'm going to go about 4, and I'm going to leave my interval at 5, and the pitch is fine. Pitch is the distance of the stitches between the in-between stitches. We will say okay. And I left my applique material there, so I have something for it to be able to cut. We're going to say okay, and it's done. Now, those are a little, I'm not crazy about those stitches. So I think my bite is too deep, so I'm going to undo that. And it's still selected, so we're going to go back and hit the applique wizard again, and I'm going to change this down to 3. And let's see what happens. That one's better. Now, I'm not crazy about it, this right here. So I think I will not do that as an applique because I think that's too many corners for it to find. So we're going to undo that one more time. And this time I'm going to take, where is that little guy? There, we're just not going to grab it. We'll make it an embroidery. If I were doing a satin stitch, it'd be a different matter. It would probably work. But since we are doing a blanket stitch, that's probably not going to be our best friend. Oh, hit the wrong button. Applique wizard. You could go down to 2.5 if you want. So let's say I go down to 2.8 and see if we like that any better. I'm actually okay with what we've got. Let's go look and see, make sure the direction they're going the direction we want. That is. And then we have to make sure it's in the order we wanted to sew. Okay. Our blanket stitches are catching our eyes. Our blanket stitches are catching our face. Everything's getting caught in the direction it's supposed to. And that is the key. Okay. Yet that's one of the reasons we removed those overlaps, is so that everything catches. Now, we do have some cleanup to do here. I'm not going to say we don't. We're going to right mouse click and we are going to ungroup, because if we look here and I pull that leg down, you can see that my covering stitch, actually, no, that's fine. And we're just going to have too many tack downs there. So let's undo that. If you are fusing your fabric on it to begin with, then you probably don't need all of those items. Let's grab our leg, that leg. Let me find it. It's this guy right here, right? So we're going to grab those 3 pieces and we're selecting them. And I'm going to tuck them up under just a little bit. So that way we're not going to see those. We need those placement stitches. Without a doubt, you need them. So I'm not going to take them out. I'm just going to tuck them under. If you take them out, then you only have half your placement stitch. And I'm going to do the same thing for this front leg. I'm going to grab these 3 pieces, select them. We're going to scroll up just a little bit and we're going to tuck them under. And so this is kind of a little finessing. If you're doing if we were doing a zigzag stitch, then we wouldn't tuck them under. We would remove those stitches. But we need this to come this direct. We need that covering stitch to cover our fabric in order to make it look right. And I might add a few blanket stitches in here myself, just because of the way that is. Or shorten the stitch. Those are our options. We shorten the stitch or we futz with it. I am not, let's see what this ear, let's see what we can do with this ear. Where is it? Right here. So you can see I'm tucking it under down here and over here just to make it, and I can't really go too far because of the way the ear sits. I'm just trying to get it there just a little bit. But then I think I'm done. I would come in here and change my covering stitches for each of the pieces so I know what's what. That is my tan. All I need to do is change the covering stitch so I know what color it's supposed to be. That is a tan. That is a pink. So I'll make it hot pink so we know it's pink. This is what? That's his tail. That would be a tan. What's this? That's the mouth. That would be a tan. Oh, that was that darker kind of a russet. But you could make it whatever you want it to be. And then this would be brown. We could grab all of our browns at the same time. So let me come down here and grab this. Just grabbing the covering stitches. They're the ones that look bulky. Make all those the same color. And then we're going to do, what else we got? What's this? That's his belly, and this is his belly. Make both of those tan, or that light beigey color. And it looks like we got everything. Okay. Now, all you do then is you do a file save as, and we're going to call it reindeer. I'll put it where I want it to go. If somebody's real ambitious, I'll send it to you and you can stitch it out and we can see what it looks like. But I'm just going to save this as reindeer. I do not have time to stitch it out, but we will then go to export, and we don't want the outermost line. We want to do insides and outsides. Oh, nope, we don't want that. So we're not going to do it that way. We're going to close it, and we're going to grab the placement stitches, and only the placement stitches. So the first segment of every applique. That should be the last of it. So now I can select those patterns, go to the Scan and Cut tab, export, and then do that little button right there. Outer edge only, and that should grab everything that we need it to grab, and then you save it as an FCM file, or if you send it Canvas Workspace, it will then ask you if you want to send it to your Scan and Cut machine. Now it's going to ask me, do I also want to send it to my Scan and Cut machine? Yes. You should not have to add an offset to this at all. It should be perfectly fine the way it is. Once you've done that, you say done or close, and you're ready to stitch it. Now, I would probably try to color sort. It may or may not let me. It kind of does. But we want all of our applique material to go first just because it makes life easier. So if it does, it really didn't sort for me since they are overlapping. So each segment, you're just going to come in and grab all right, so let's see here. Let me undo. And we're going to undo to the colors because it really didn't color sort for me. Right? No, it did not color sort for me. So I'm going to redo one. Now we're going to come and grab the first piece of every applique. I'm holding my control key down so I can skip segments. This is your applique material color. We're going to take those and we're going to move them to sew up behind the first piece. So now all of our applique material pieces are going to be in the same space. So we would put them right there. And if you do this little button right here and you say show by color order, you will notice all of your pieces are right there. I'm going to do the same thing for the tack down stitch. Now, I generally would not do a tack down stitch with this. I'll be perfectly honest. I put a fusible on the back of mine, and I do not worry about a tack down stitch when I'm doing a blanket applique because I think it shows and I don't like the way it looks. My blanket stitch should be enough to cover it. So normally I would just delete this section. So normally I would come in here, double click it, move my cursor in the window, press delete, and then I don't have a tack down. I think it appliques cleaner that way. Okay. So that's up to you. That's personal preference. I'm not going to make that decision for you. But then you could, I would leave the rest of them in the order that they are, just simply because you're going to have different colors of fabric and you may want one to stitch over the other. So it just depends on what you're trying. What do we got here? What's that? That's the eye and that's the face. So yeah, the face would stitch first and then the eye, blanket covering stitch. So, I mean, it really depends on you and what you want to do. Okay. If you want to do your tack downs, that is perfectly fine. There is nothing wrong with that. I just personally would do it this way. All right. Okay, guys, it looks like I have gone over my time. That was not my intention today. I had not planned to dive this deep in it. I thought somebody would have some questions and you wouldn't just be staring at me playing, but you stared at me playing. So remember that pattern came from the Whole Country Caboodle. Okay. She does a really nice job and it's the wholecountrycaboodle.com. You can order them directly off of her website. I think she sells the different critters individually as well. Okay. So, her patterns are really good. She does a very nice job with her patterns. All right, guys, if there's nothing else, I do believe I will probably see you next week. It will be probably a quicker one than normal, just simply because it's Christmas week. So don't know how much we'll be doing. Have fun. Let me know how your nap control works, how that works for you. That's actually a really easy way to start learning how to use it. Okay. This was definitely a deep dive into how to take a scanned image from the ScanNCut and turn it into an applique. I know we've done it multiple times, but I think I've done the same critter most of the time. This one had more parts to it, so it gave you more of an intricate look at how you would layer things. All right, guys, y'all have a great rest of your week. I will talk to you next week. See you then.